Right, this is a classic Anglo Indian dish. It's called fried meat, pepper water, rice, Poppadums and Bombay duck. Now I'm going to do this in the Ramoska, but the recipe below will be just for normal cooking. Now ordinarily you would start the curry, possibly in the Ramoska tria or another pot. You cook your curry. When you've got that on and you've got it underway, you then make the pepper water. But because I'm going to eat it tomorrow, I'm going to do it separately. And I'm going to use the Ramoskas, which makes it slightly more logistically difficult. Anyway, we're going to start with the pepper water. And what I'm going to doing is this is tamarind. And there is meant to be like an egg size piece of it. So it's, I suppose if you push it in an oval like that, it's sort of egg size. I mean, that goes in the Ramoska. And now we add the other ingredients. For that, all you need is a teaspoon. You see, normally you'd be using two pots, one frying pan, one with the fried spices, which I'll be showing you in a minute, and then others with the pepper water, and this is the start of the pepper water. Right, so what we've got to do now is we add the various items. Okay, chili powder, 1 teaspoon, but I like it a little bit spicy, so a little bit, say 1 large heap one will do, or 2 medium, your own taste. Then we take turmeric, teaspoon turmeric, and I've got Jeera, 3 teaspoons of Jeera, one, 2, 3. Love the smell of that. Incidentally, Jeera, you slice some tomatoes, put some olive oil on it, spread a bit of Jeera over the top. Nice little starter. Throw some mozzarella in if you like. Lovely. Anyway, now, in here is dried ground fenugreek powder, or dried methi, I suppose you could call it, which is fenugreek. And so it's not a lot of that, but say about 3/4 teaspoon, that goes in. And then we come for the magic ingredient, Asafoetida. I don't know if I can undo that or not. No, Asafoetida. No, you really don't need much of this. 1/2 teaspoon, 2 3/4 of a teaspoon is ample. Right, so we've got all that in it. Then we need salt. I'm using ground rock salt because I've got that. Sea salt would be better. 1 teaspoon. 2 teaspoons. And now we add the final ingredient, which is 2 pints of water. That's 1. That's 2. All right, give that a stir. Bringing that to a boil. Listen, it's very important that you don't get any of this on your clothes, you know, because if you do, let's break this up a little bit. If you do get it on your clothes, it's got turmeric in it, it'll dye your clothes yellow, it will never come out. So that's just a tip. Right, we're going to try this on the Moscow. I've not done this before, so we'll have to see how it goes. So the next thing is now, is to simmer that for about ½ an hour, 20 minutes or so. That goes in there. and that's now on. Right, while the Musca standard is going to be bringing that to the boil and the simmer for 25 minutes, one hopes. That would be done in a separate pan, remember, if you're doing this normally. And you would have, if you're doing it for dinner party the same day, you'd have started the meat curry already. Anyway, in the Ramoska, again, if you were doing this in another way, you could have had the meat curry going in here, and you'd have had to use another pot for the pepper water to finish that off. Anyway, I'm using the Ramoska Tria today. I've got that on the hob. I'm frying what should have been one large onion. I didn't have one large onion, so I chopped up 2 medium ones, which means I've got a huge amount of onion here now. Anyway, that'll all cook down, I know, so that won't be a problem. And also, when that's light brown, as is always the case, I then add the other ingredients, which I'll show you here. Mustard seed, one of my favourites. 2 to 3 pods of chopped garlic. Over there is curry leaves, should be about 12 large ones, but I haven't got 12, I've only got broken bits at the end, so I've done a small handful. And it should be, my mum's original recipe was 12 dry red chillies. These are quite small, but I've done 12. Really, they mean the longer ones, but I might throw 2 or 3 hours in a minute. And that goes in once the onions are light brown, that gets added. And at the end, optional, is tomatoes, chopped tomatoes. It changes the colour. It should use only about half of that in there. You don't need much. I'll see what it looks like. I mean, everything's edible. I might just throw it in, but if you want to be authentic about it, and the recipe will authentic, half amount. Right. Well, the onions are frying there in the Tria, and just beginning to turn brown. When they get light brown like that, that's when you've got to start thinking about adding the other whole spices. One of the other problems I've seen, if they made a Ramoska standard with the ability of a Tria, i.e. a Tria on a standard size, they may have it cracked, because it's extremely difficult. I mean, this now has been going, the Ramoska with the pepper water, with 2 pints of water to bring up to boil and simmer, it's been going for like 15 minutes. And I'll show you what it is. I mean, you know, it's just basically there. So in a Ramoska, I think when I say 15-20 minutes, I think I mean 15-20 minutes from the time it reaches the cooking temperature. Anyway, there's the onions just turning light brown. I'm now going to add the other ingredients. There we go. Mustard seed. Curry leaves. Garlic. And red chillies. Give it a nice stir. I'll turn down the temperature a little bit. Garlic will absorb some oil, of course, as does ginger. There's no ginger in this. But to give it a little bit, I've slowed it down the fry really to about half. So it's just basically frying slowly. The reason really is that I think it's a good way of frying whole spices anyway. But also, I've got this blasted standard Ramoska that's taking its time. So I'm going to have to wait for that. Let's just have a look at that again. Right, there it is again. And let's have a quick stir. See, that hasn't really reached simmering temperature yet. It's just basically getting hot. The tamarind will break up. See it there. You want that to break up if you can. Let me just see if I can break it up a bit more with 2 wooden sticks. Let's see how we go. Be careful of the lid of the Ramoska. Make sure you leave it up like this, upside down. That's not very good there. Anyway, I've broken it up a little bit more. Shove it on there. Right, give the other vegetables a fry. Right, it's not a lot we can do except watch kettle boil. Well, here's the first variation really. I've turned the frying spices off for the moment because the standard Ramoska with the water is taking too long to get to a cooking temperature. So the moral of the story is don't start the fried vegetables until you've got the water up to a cooking temperature, which so far has been about 20 minutes, and that's it. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay, well, I'm going to guess now. There's a few bubbles there. Can hardly call it simmering, but it's a slow cook. I'm going to suggest that once it gets to that slow cook stage with the odd bubble, just again, you leave it for half an hour from there. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'll share the rest of the recipe. I think for practical purposes, you've got to use a separate pan. Right, well, I started frying again because the pepper water in the smaller Ramoska is now bubbling away, so that's fine. And there is the fried ingredients. They're almost ready, and the Ramoska's nearly ready. Now I'll show you. Here's the Ramoska, because I haven't got a metal one of these sieves, so I've put the plastic one on top. I've turned off the this, and now I'm pouring the pepper water in. Oh, that was a mistake. Anyway, there we go. Right. Now you've got to push this through. So the idea then would just be left with the pulp in there and all the liquid's gone through. It's a very pungent smell. I think I'm happy with that. I'll get rid of that by throwing that away. Alexa, stop.
25-minute timer stopped on Cornelius Echo Dot.
Right, there's the pepper water now done. But because we've evaporated, obviously, I want 2 pints. So we've evaporated, I'm guessing, about half a pint. So I'm adding half a pint of water to it. And now I'm going to leave that for a few more minutes to simmer, and then that will be done. Well, that was a bit clumsy, decanting that, but there, it's all in there now. And I'm now using the lid for a few minutes to get it back up to temperature, for say 10 minutes, and I think it's cooked then. And that'll be it, ready for the rest of the food, which will be fried meat. I'm going to do boiled rice, plain boiled rice, fried meat, Dahl. You've already seen there's a recipe of mine on there for the Dahl. And this time I'll be doing poppadums. You'll also see that in one of the other recipes I'll do the poppadums, which are easy to fry. But the unusual ingredient is going to be Bombay duck. Bombay duck is not a duck, it's a fish. And dried fish, and it smells like billy-o when you're frying it. But you break it up, it's quite salty, and you spread it on top of your curry. Very hard to get in this country, so if you can't get it, don't worry about it. Mine was well, from time to time you can get it in this country, and then they ban it for a bit, and then they get it for a bit. Your best thing is just try the Asian supermarkets and see if they have it. Have to be the Indian one, of course. Yeah, well, before I forget, I'm going to put half chopped tomato from a tin in. It's optional, this, you don't need it. Not essential. Changes the colour basically. But I like it in there. Tomato does no harm, of course. And you'll do that for breakfast, I think. I don't know. Breakfast will do, probably. Right. Give that a stir. Right. That's it, done. I'll turn it off in 5-10 minutes. It's cooked, nothing to see. That's the end of the filming.